How's everybody doing? Sorry I didn't plug in my mic yet. Okay, there you go. Mic should be plugged in and everything should be going. How's everybody doing today? It's a wonderful, beautiful Monday that we're having. And sorry for this being a bit late because I did do my last stream like 12 days ago, but I'll try to get episode 4 on Metaphysics done tomorrow, day after. I don't know. I have a very busy schedule, especially because tomorrow I'm having Dr. Matthew Levering. Who else am I having? I'm having 2 other people too. I'm having a lot of people on tomorrow. I'm having 3 episodes. We'll be talking about Greek. We'll be talking about Catholic biblical interpretation. We'll be talking about Leonetius of Byzantium and his effect on Christology. We'll be talking about everything tomorrow. Oh, yeah, also James Abney's on tomorrow, too. And then I can't remember the third. But yeah, tomorrow. And then later tonight, I'll be on Original Wind Productions, which is John Fisher 2.0. That's his channel. But before we get into it, I do a after show on Patreon where I go into a little bit more depth, find a primary source text about whatever I talk about, and then I go over that. So if you'd like to become a patron to get access to that, it's a patron of any amount. So if you want to be a $1 patron, go ahead, be my guest. I'm grateful for any amount. And you can find that on patreon.com/Militant Thomist. I'll make sure in the community tab, put the link after this episode is up. And then also it should be in the description below. So let's get right into it. Today we're going to be talking about the idea of let's see, let me try to get it up. There you go. Oh no, that's the wrong slideshow. Let me get the right slideshow up. Sorry about that. That is last week's slideshow. So today we're going to be talking about the transcendence of being, which is a very important concept in metaphysics. It's going to get you a lot into the idea of theosis too. It's going to be very important for it. It's going to be very important for a lot of different things. It's going to seem very Platonic, which is, I love being a closet Platonist. So let's get right into it. So we run into a bit of an issue with what we talked about last week. So we have this concept of being, which is kind of remembered that mixture. We can't properly define it, but improperly, it's kind of that mixture of existence and essence. That insofar as something exists, it has being. We got into that a little bit, but now we run into a problem. So since being is indeterminate and can't be defined, on the other hand, when we say that X is a being, so if I say I am a being, we are referring to something which is determinate. So how are we predicating something indeterminate to something that is determinate? So it seems that from this line of reasoning right here, that being is only purely logical, that's only a purely logical definition that doesn't exist in reality. But that can't be the case, because if being doesn't exist in reality, then it's not real. And if it's not real, then there is no being. And if there is no being, then there's non-being. And non-being is just a word for nothing. So then there must be nothing. So being must be something which is real. But then we run into a different problem, because what distinguishes beings? Because from this supposition, we would say that being can't distinguish other beings. So it must be something which is not being. And again, that would be nothing, leading us back to another problem. So the question of what distinguishes being? Well, we would say that being distinguishes being. And our solution is found in the idea of the transcendence of being. So being itself isn't merely in these little categories, which are distinguished by other things, but being transcends all categories and is found in everything insofar as it exists transcendently. It's not something which is these little discrete pieces of being that you find everywhere. Rather, being is shared. In our created case, it's participated being, and in God's case, it's first being, or being qua being. So even those things which distinguish being from being is being. So being transcends all of those categories which we have. That's why we say, for example, that being has no genus, it has no category, because it transcends everything. And then from this comes the other idea of being being the ontologically first concept. So that is, all other concepts attach themselves as modifying being. So when we predicate anything of anything and we define anything, all we're doing is modifying that idea of being into these different concepts. So examples are going to illustrate this for us. So if we think of substance, what is substance? Substance is being of itself. If we think of accidents, what are accidents? Accidents are being in another. If we think of truth, what is truth? Truth is intellectual being. If we think of good, what is good? Good is aptative being. Good is that being wherein we desire. Truth is that being in wherein we know. Accidents are being which inhere in other beings. Substance is being which exists in itself. So all of those concepts we have of everything in reality, since being is transcendent, are just modifications of that main idea of being. So it's the ontologically first concept, and all other concepts go back to being as the first concept. So now also, being is the general and most simple predicate. So first, being is the general predicate, which means that all things, insofar that they are beings. So everything is being. Because if something wasn't being, then it would be not being or nothing. And then further, being is the most simple predicate. So it gets us down below the surface to the deepest metaphysical notion of what something is. So the most simple way in which we could describe something, and we can't go further than this, is that it is being. So I can say, I am being. I can say that this computer is being. I can say that you are being. That's the deepest level in which we can get down to. And that's something which is, again, transcendent. So we all share that idea of being. So then a helpful illustration of this is if we think of man. I'm a rational animal, which means I have those concepts of rationality, and I have that concept also of animality. But that doesn't get down to the deepest level we can think of metaphysically of what I am. If we get down to the deepest level, then I am being, because it is, again, the most simple predicate that we can have of things. Okay, that was a quick one. That's all I have for you today. Since I've realized in preparing these that they're probably going to be these shorter, like 10-ish minute videos, I'll try to get to a faster pace and do 2 to 3 episodes a week, since these are quick videos to prepare. Thank you. If you really appreciate what I'm doing, please become a patron. Follow me on all those social medias. Just absolutely destroy that subscribe button and hit that like button, comment, make the algorithm absolutely love me so everybody can know about Thomistic metaphysics. Okay. Oh, and then John Fisher has a comment. By transcendent, I believe it means that it is transcending Aristotle's 10 categories. Yeah, by, let me just actually have, let me check real quick. Yeah, so when we talk about the transcendence of being, it can be referring to the 10 categories, but again, the 10 categories are just referring to those ways in which being subsists. So since it's those ways in which being subsists, can subsist of itself, which is accident, substance. It can subsist in other, which are accidents. Then we have the 9 categories, the way in which being can subsist in another. But specifically, when these scholastic philosophers, the scholastic Thomistic philosophers, will talk about the transcendence of being. It's the fact that everything, insofar as it exists, has being, even referring to God, but in certainly a different mode than which we would say that we have being. Because properly speaking, we don't have being of itself. We have being insofar as we participate in God. So, yes. And then those come down to the transcendentals, which I think eventually we'll get into the transcendentals. It's truth, goodness, and beauty, and everybody forgets about the 2 others. There's actually 5 transcendentals, not 3. but being is also transcendental, then unity is also transcendental. Okay. So that's all I have for you. Thank you. Remember to do all those things, and I will talk to you all later. Goodbye.
Glory be